What's up, YouTube fams? It's Dark Angel's Journey. I'm just curious to check it. Why CPE is coming out today, and I figured it would be a good idea to do a morning analysis so I'm prepared for this price action. Most likely, I'm not doing anything during the actual news announcements, and I'll trade the after effects. For me, I found that that's like the best method to making me some monies. Plus, I wanted to also share with you a trade setup that I chickened out of yesterday. And it's really that the mindset, that psychology that I'm still struggling with, with some trades. There's moments where I'm like, let it ride. And then there's moments like, oh no. And then I get a little green. I'm like, yes. And then I'll run away with like 1% or 2% or something when I could have had like a 7%, you know, return like last night. All right, so if that sounds like a good time, hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear and respond to them. All right, cool. So let's do it. I'm gonna make myself super tiny. Okay, realizing I don't need to be that tiny, right? Like so? Okay, cool. All right. So first things first, let me share with you the trade setup that I had last night. And actually, let me hit the replay button and flop back this way. All right. So on Ethereum, right? So yesterday, after all of that fun Powell conversations, we had this, the markets were like, yay, we're going up, woo. I was like, okay, cool. Um, and I was like, all right, so we're probably gonna we started consolidating in this region right here after that first hit. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me see. Is it one of those broadening wedge things? And it actually, yeah, it is, right? So I was like, okay, so if I see something nice, I'm bearish or bullish about it, because these supposedly break downwards, right? So I was thinking to myself, all right, so about 6:45, yeah, I saw that. I saw this, and it's a bit of an evening star, isn't it, right? Like it's not perfect, but I mean, it's a bit of an evening star. And then this nice red candle afterwards, I was like, cool. So I jumped in here and, I wrote it down to about, it kept oscillating down here. It's about 1%, 1.5, 1.6. And then it turned around a little bit, right? And I got scared. I was like, sweet, seeing the trade play out in real time was a little rough, right? And the 50 was coming up to chat with it. And that's the thing I really need to remember, right? Like I'm using the 50 as a point of reference. It doesn't have to stop the price. Like sometimes it does respect it, obviously, for sure. But I mean, the other thing is that I had my take profit at 1264, right? Which doesn't mean that it can't, come down here eventually, but if I just switched it out to 1278, which is what I was really thinking, because this is an area where price paused at before. So I was thinking about 1278, somewhere in the inside of this imbalance, then it would have worked out beautifully, right? Look at that. Beautiful. Perfect. So, um, but I got out up here like a little weirdo because I saw it turning around and da da da. I'm like, But again, that's something I need to work through, right? From a from a psychology perspective. All right, so now that we've switched things out. Oh, and I'm testing out this 9 EMA, 50 being just like trend direction, but the 9, like if I had been paying attention, if I had the 9 up last night, once it turned and it still coincided with my entry. But I'm testing out to see if it's like a good indicator for me to, corroborate, not to use it as a single point of interest, but just to corroborate what I'm thinking. So, let's back up a second. So once that candle had turned, that it was just breaking there. And then like once my other candle formed, it was already below it. So my entry here Because I said a limit order would have worked perfectly, like once it turned. Anyway, so let's talk about what could happen today. All right, so let's go ahead and let's pop back over to Forex Factory because I think CP is coming out at 8:30 this morning. PCE, sorry, bad. All right, so let's see. The last time this came out was October 28th, and it was the same. 0.5 to 0.5. And what is this? Change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, like excluding food and energy. So it differs from the core CPI in that it only measures goods and services targeted towards and consumed by individuals. All right, so no, what does that mean? No electricity or what? Okay, all right, whatever. So that's coming out at 8:30 and they're expecting 0.3. So now, just for funsies, let's go back and take a look at what happened. I guess we can use Bitcoin for this. Let's go back and take a look at what happened on October 28th when it came out last time. So let's just do the day. Okay, and so we're in October. Maybe I should have done 4 hours, sorry. Just for funsies. November. Okay, so the 28th was over here. 28th. Let me hit the replay button. Because I'm just curious to see how things played out. 12, 8. Okay, let's see. All right. Oopsie. So let's see, what time is this? It's 4, 26, 28. So 12, 8, 4. That's a Saturday. It's going to 1 hour. Still learning to scrolling in the deep here. That's 8 o'clock, yeah. So last time, because PCE was the same, it shot up. What is this? It shot up that candle, 8:30, 9 a.m. candle. What am I doing? Sorry, 30-minute candles. Haha. Right. Okay, that's the 8:30 candle. So there's some manipulation, and then it went up because it was the same. It wasn't worse. It was just neutral. And the market took that as positive. Now, given that they're going with 0.3, so if we come in at 0.4, I mean, or 0.2 or 0.3, then, we'll probably go up. 0.4 will probably go down a little bit. So, I mean, I would say just be careful. All right, so let's focus on what we can do. So things that I'm going to clear out for the moment. And let's take everything out for the moment, just for funsies. And let's remove previous setups, because those are done and dusted, right? And let's back up out to the 1 hour and let's see what we're looking at. So, right. So we are in a obvious trend. Do that. Let me make that like blue or something. Let's make that blue, and let's make sure we have all the right touches. And this is just for reference, right? So I'm gonna use this one. Okay. Touch there. And looks like there's a touch right here. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3 touches. All right, so we've sort of broken out of that thing, so we'll see what's happening. All right, so on the 1 hour, what do we have? So we have this mini uptrend, and we've traded back to it. And so what are our options? So if CP is good, then we're doing this. Next level of support's about right here. And then we could come back down to this level, the last place it stopped, and then continue on up. That's one option. And then there's a big imbalance up here, like huge, juicy imbalance that they could honestly plow up and eat, right? So let's get ourselves sorted out, right? So looking to the left, always a good plan to look to the left, right? So this is the last place price stopped at. So let's do this. Let's do a little bit of a, right? And then we can get rid of this line because, and we can look at it like this. We retrace back up to this level. Yeah, so something like that. And then let's extend ourselves this way. So, I mean, all I'm doing is adding like SR levels and trading between them. And I'm finding that's just much simpler to deal with than trying to think through every little thing. So we're basically coming up on this area, so we'll need to bust through it. But I can't imagine why we wouldn't, right? There's this juicy imbalance right here for them to eat. So, if CPE is great, then based off of that, I would be setting because I expect it would bust right through to at least tap this imbalance. So from my perspective, we came back down, we ate that, and now we're hanging out in this area. There is a little bit of an imbalance down here for them to like rip it down. Because, for those people who are in longs, their stop losses are probably just below here, right? So eat this imbalance, shake them out, continue back up. Now this is good. We made a high and a higher higher low. So we're in a bit of a trending market, at least for the moment. So that basically means that I'm looking for, like I said, this, come back up, retrace back down to this level, and then continuation back up, right? So in my mind, let me just set that like that. I really need to set this up so this doesn't have um, a border. But anyway, so my thoughts are let that play out, and then I can play the retracements and the stuff back up because it's kind of treacherous, at least from my perspective, to be. Let me move this over. It's a little treacherous from my perspective to trade the news. You can trade it as a test, if you want to get comfortable. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Now, if it's bad, then the next level of support's here. We're really close, but it has this big imbalance down here, right? So if that's the case, then the opposite is to be expected because it's just market structure, right? So, break down into this imbalance, come back up to tap this area where like price last stopped, and then break back down to the next level that price last hung out at, right? Which is here. So this is the last area where price stopped, right? So that's my general plan, and these are all SR areas, look. Yep. Perfect. So that's the general consensus, but right now we're kind of in a stalled state and we need some sort of movement. And let me just add back the SMAs. All right. So the 50 is still pointing up on the 1 hour, and the 9 is just at price, so not much to do. What I'm hoping to see is it trade away from that. All right. All right, cool. So let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. It behaved the same. Take that off. Okay, oops. We're all the way down here. Okay. So it behaved the same last night. I had a similar scenario, but the it this was pretty sharp, and the movement was the area it was going to go back down to was too close because it's right here. So I wasn't interested in taking that trade. That wasn't worthwhile. But Ethereum moved a little bit more. If it had chosen to come all the way back down, which neither of them did, then that would be it. But now we're in a situation where, let's come up to the 1 hour, right? Okay. So now we're in a situation where we're just kind of in a holding pattern, hanging out in the zone. So similar scenario, there's an imbalance up here. And if we look to the left, it's actually kind of perfect. It's basically hanging out at the last place that price has, retraced back up to, which is here. So I won't need to draw like a secondary thing. That's literally where it's gonna like dip back to if the CPE is good. Whether or not it's gonna be a big move is the other question. Now, again, just for funsies, let me go back to the 4 hour. If we look to the left, since that's the last place price stopped, the next potential area after that, is about here where it paused. There's a big imbalance above it at 19. So, it'd have to be a lot of, maybe do that. It'd have to be a lot of, do that. And then let me just also make sure I'm aware of this imbalance that's all the way up here as well. Oops, wrong one. Imbalance. And there's even more. And there's also this juicy break up here for them to potentially come back. But look at it, we're in a sideways move, right? Look at that. It's all consolidation at this point. So trying to trade these smaller moves. We're coming back up. Yeah. So if it wants to move significantly, like $1,000, and we're at like 17, then coming into this 18 area makes sense. If they want to go even higher, we have this imbalance. So let's plot back down again. Same scenario. If CPE is good, then we'll see a similar situation. We've traded back into this, come up to this guy, retrace back down to this level, and continue back up. That's the structure that I'm expecting. If it's the opposite, then we're going in the opposite direction. We're going to break back down to this area where price last stopped, probably tap this, and then continue down to eat the rest of this imbalance is what I'm thinking. All right, so it all depends on what price does. We'll see. All right, so I think that's good for today in terms of analysis. It is stupid early. It is 5:37 in the AM Eastern Standard in the area. So for all you folks that are up super early with me, welcome. For everybody else who's sleeping, good for you. Good for you. I wish I was still sleeping. But anyway, drop a like, hit the subscribe if you feel like it, and drop a comment. I love to read those. I love it. And I love to respond, and I really like to hear your thoughts on my analysis. So just remember, none of this is financial advice. It's just what I'm thinking and what I'm doing and how I'm growing in my journey. And, you know, everything requires time and patience, right? It's like I'm sleeping last night, I'm waking up early, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my God, why did I get out of that trade? It was perfect." And you saw that setup. So I really like that strategy. It's a beautiful combination of everything that I was already doing, but less complicated. And I think that's what I need. Less complicated. To simplify, set my levels. If I see what I'm seeing, enter, set my stop loss, set my take profit at the next level, keep it moving, rinse and repeat. Done. All right, guys, I'm gonna dip. Y'all enjoy this. It's Thursday. Yay! It's almost time for the weekend. Sad song. Working for the weekend, right? Ugh, no. Working for yourself, man. Mm, mm. I'm working towards financial freedom. It's gonna take a few years, but I know we'll get there. And so will you if you keep trucking, right? Keep it moving. Keep moving forward. All right. All right, let's have some fun this beat is sick. And with that, you're out.